Outer Banks of North Carolina. It's June.
That's enough to ruin a beach day.
Totally.
That's more than interfere.
It's a little chilly.
Ruin.
Thanks for getting ready with America's Morning Headquarters. I'm Jen Carfagno alongside Alex Wallace and Dr. Greg Postel. From coast to coast, the Weather Channel has you covered. We do have storms out there. They're returning to the center of the country, signaling a change just as summer gets started. They've got a summer feel to them.
They do. Firing up there in the Rockies, and then they continue to work their way towards the east. And you could be looking at more of that as we head through today.
See those new storms firing up, or not new storms, but really lightning-activated storms here in western Arkansas, eastern Oklahoma? I think that's the outflow boundary from those storms overall to the north that formed last night.
Gosh, these boundaries are so powerful.
Weather creating weather, Jen.
Weather creating weather.
You got to watch them. They really do, because they can cause the problems down the road.
Yes, yes.
All right, well, today's big deal looks at the pattern here.
We saw severe weather also followed suit.
Look at that.
Yeah.
A southward moving MCS, mesoscale convective system, that brought the severe weather along the way.
It was an afternoon one.
A lot of times in the southeast, we get them at night as leftovers from what happens in the Midwest.
That's what made this a little bit surprising, but it's not surprising considering the pattern we have in place. Let's talk about all that. So, I mean, look, there's a lot of cleanup.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, trees down, power lines, it was a mess out there. All in all, over 206 damaging wind reports just in that zone there.
I didn't look, but I don't think we had any tornado reports, did we?
I didn't see any here.
Not in that group, no.
Actually, I'll go back to this real quick. The other thing, as we look at all these reports, is that a lot of the wind, the specific wind, was less than 60 miles per hour, but yet it still caused a lot of damage. There's a lot of cleanup in that area.
That's a really good point. So a lot of these circles here aren't necessarily technically severe thunderstorm reports, but damage reports.
But you got to clean up.
Right.
So
you got to clean up.
Either way.
Right.
Yeah, you don't care if it was 60 or 65. You just know you got trees all in your yard.
Yeah, right. Then, of course, the hail. And, oh, boy. There's I mean, I was talking about this yesterday in one of my segments about, you've got your garden planted and everything's kind of tender right now, vegetation just kind of going up. And then it feels like every year in Denver we get a hailstorm when the gardens are just going.
Like clockwork.
Like clockwork, it's about that time of year. In the air aloft, the freezing level's pretty low to the ground because you have the Rockies extending up closer toward it. So you get these hailstones coming out of these storms that are pretty feisty.
Yeah, so that was pretty widespread across the Denver metro area. And you can see the corridor of active weather over the last 24 hours. And it kind of mirrors where we were, or where we might see today. More severe weather. Yeah,
and I mean, that's when we see it at this time of the year, right? June through August, you want to find some hail, head out into the plains.
Yeah. This is it. I mean, this is your season for active weather. When it comes to tornadoes this time of year, we typically look a little farther north. Not to say you can't get them farther south, but there's also much more real estate at play. This, by summertime, everyone's at risk.
Jet stream kind of lifts to the north as you go through the warm season. It gets closer to the U.S.-Canadian border. That's where the stronger wind shear is typically, and that's what really provides, I think, the background for tornado formation with thunderstorms.
So there you have it in June, the concentration there across the plains. A little bit of Texas here, but again, kind of the northern tier. Not much as you work into parts of the south and southeast.
But don't let your guard down. It's obviously not zero. And we'll talk about where there could be storms today. That June-like pattern going the... Sorry, they're laughing at me. But you know that feeling, right? When you've got to sneeze. I think it passed. These are all the places where we had storm reports of trees down, knocking down power outages in some cases. It was really Alabama that was hard hit, a little bit into parts of southeastern Georgia. There's another little quarter up there in South Carolina and Georgia. But really, we took it the hardest here, where we've still got some power outages, more than 38,000 customers in Alabama alone without power. And it's really across the middle part of the state that got the worst of it. So it's been improving. At the peak, you can see last afternoon and evening, we were at nearly 160,000 customers without power. There has been quite a lot of improvement. They're working hard, but work to be done. A couple of thunderstorms actually out there right now. Now, interestingly, those are not in an area that really has a lot of instability to give into them. But there's some. It's not zero. Obviously, there's thunder and lightning happening. But you notice where most of the instability is pulling, that's the brighter color in the background, that available energy for thunderstorms back from Texas into Louisiana, all the way down to the south. We've got a north wind, or at least a northerly component to the wind, wind. And in a lot of cases, it's bringing in some drier and more stable air and lower dew points. That's why the air feels a little different out there today. You step outside, like, wow, it feels fresh and light, right? Well, we've got dew points that are dropping through the 40s and 50s now, moving through the Carolinas, moving into Tennessee, and on its way into Georgia. That is going to be driving feels like that is much more fall-like than it is summer-like out there. So today, temperatures themselves are going to be cooler, running below average by about 5 to 10 degrees. A lot of mid-70s or even low 80s down into parts of Georgia. That front is coming all the way into northern Florida. Now, it won't be as cool down here in the Florida Panhandle. Tampa, though, we're dropping to 83, and you're going to have some lower dew points, too, relatively speaking. So it's going to feel a lot different, a lot better for at least a day or two. You'll have that feeling in Atlanta for a few days. Thursday, the sun is out, temperatures warming back up to average, but we'll still have our lower dew points at this point. So get ready for a little taste of October here, Alex.
Oh, yes, I am looking forward. Well,
as we look at your beach plans and looking ahead to what you can expect in your forecast, well, first we'll start talking about what's happening with those water temperatures. They have been warming up. Oh, no, this is the moisture. Actually.
The moisture.
Yeah, sorry, my eyes.
Plenty of that, right?
Yeah.
That's still in place, although the deepest moisture hanging out there in the, I'd say, the central and western sections of the Gulf, and even trying to sneak its way into parts of Texas and Louisiana.
Okay, so we'll be where we have the moisture, the increased moisture, and where we have the southerly flow, that'll be our better chance of getting into some showers like we see this morning around the Houston area.
Absolutely, indeed. We move our way and check in through the rest of the day. Notice a Gulf Coast, Florida, in terms of chances for the rain, and that could add up to be some flood issues. That's the zone, but there's also a severe weather risk that we face as well.
Right. I mean, we do have that boundary, right? And so, in the coming days, we'll have to keep an eye on some scattered showers, maybe a few thunderstorms through this area. Tropical season, and we saw that happen last year without any landfalls in North Carolina of hurricanes. So let's talk about preparing. No matter what kind of your challenges are, insurance. Insurance is always an important thing to talk about and to be ready for. So check in with your insurance agent yearly just to make sure you have the coverage you need.
Absolutely, indeed. Is there anything you can do to your home to improve it a bit more? Securing those important documents that you may need, and take the photos and videos of everything so that you have a record of it here in case you need to file any claims.
And it's really good to do this kind of stuff now so that you you don't need to rush in the case of emergency.
Absolutely. All right, so when it comes to insurance, conventional as well as renters, what's covered usually? Wind, hail, fire and lightning, pipes bursting. That's usually covered. Flooding, on the other hand, most cases, it's got to get a separate policy.
This is what's not covered: flash flood, river flood, coastal flood, storm surge. So again, this is, in talking about tropical weather, this is the stuff that is not covered by conventional home insurance. That's why you need that flood insurance.
All right, so again, separate policy, and no, if you try to get one, generally there's a 30-day waiting period, so you can't wait too long to get it.
The boundaries have some power to them. They look like nothing. They kind of feel good when they come through. They're going to cool you down for a moment, but watch out.
Watch out indeed. All right, so here's what's going on. For the last 3 hours or so, those are the storms Dr. Postel was just talking about here across the plains, down into Oklahoma as well. In the background shading, that's all the moisture. So still plenty of moisture around out there here across the southern plains, down on into Texas.
Yes. Thunderstorms at the moment are up into western Kansas, a little bit of West Texas, but that'll be an area that sees more later today. And it is possible we see some severe weather out here. The dry line will be the main focus for some storms across this area.
And then this area kind of lights up again with that outflow boundary. Driving southbound, that could spark off the activity that we see there. Some of the heaviest rain, though, Jen, could be here in New Mexico and West Texas here for the day and into tomorrow morning.
It is possible we see some flash flooding, and I know it's not going to be everywhere, but you got to keep in mind that if we get some of these downpours, the storms may not be moving a lot, and they could put down rain at some pretty big rainfall rates. Watch how these flare up right through the afternoon and early evening.
And you can see they're not necessarily moving all that quickly, and we're still dealing with it here Wednesday morning there. Fort Stockton's a spot right in the line to deal with more of that rain. So it's hanging around for some time, allowing it for it to add up a bit.
Yeah, and those overnight clusters of storms can be big rainmakers. And we watch that again Wednesday into Thursday. Very similar pattern across the very same area. No change, even through Friday.
The graphics are changed, we promise you, but very similar story here for us. And even as we work our way through the end of the week, heading into the weekend, we're still finding more rain showers and thunderstorms here in the Lone Star State. Now, we need some of this rain, and at least in many cases, but we don't want too much too quickly.
Yeah, as always the case here. And there's actually a zone in Texas that did pretty good with the drought.
Well, of course, it was a unique spring. You know, spring, it's a transition season, and it can bring the full gamut of weather. We saw it all, right? From severe storms, tornado outbreaks, to even some late season snow.
Just this weekend. But this year, in many ways, the spring 2026 season was incredibly unique.
Yeah, the severe weather and the tornado activity really flare up. It was all concentrated across the Midwest. That's where the clusters were. Now, we saw them in other places, but overall, I mean, you look at this. These are all the tornado warnings that were issued, and you can see mostly the Midwest.
Yeah. If you blur your eyes, it's mostly red up there. We've got the numbers actually to support it. That's where a lot of the reports came from.
Yeah, and this spring was characterized by pretty warm weather relative to average in the southeastern U.S. in places like Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, the typical southern severe activity zone at this time of year. But it was dry, and we had a big old ridge of high pressure, and around it was the storm track where we saw all those severe weather reports.
And so you can see that. It was interesting, too, that it happened early in the season. March and April were some of our busiest days overall.
Yeah, and this bears it out, right? The top day was March 15th. 620 reports, and that includes damaging wind, the hail, and tornadoes all included in that. But only one day, May, made the top 4.
Yeah, and that's surprising.
Yeah.
It's not what you think of it as typical. So when you look at the months, well, this is March, and all the active weather, I mean, it wasn't just tornadoes. It was hail. It was hail and hail and hail, and also winds, though, too.
And this was just over a 2-day period back in the mid part of March. So, again, very active day. That was kind of that big peak
day
of big-time severe weather out there.
Look how far north it was.
Yeah.
Yes. So that day it set a lot of the sort of the noteworthy records that we kept from this past spring. April, pretty far north again.
Missouri,
looked
Illinois.
like March,
yeah,
didn't it?
Almost carbon copy.
No tornado warnings in Georgia. No tornado warnings in Alabama in April.
Wow. That's super rare to see that happen.
That's what you expect. And when you look at all of the warnings combined in May, yes, we had more to the south, but we still had them up to the north.
Still. And still very few in Georgia and Alabama in May. It's been a relatively quiet season in the southeast severe weather-wise.
Hail, top hail days, March and April.
March and April, there you go. And if you add 2 and 3 days, they're back in April. 155 on March 10th and April 17th. Again, year of hail rolling on.
Right, so when you look back on it, it was been north this severe weather season like this, and big hail was a big story.
Right. Some of the biggest hail came out of Illinois. Illinois, your previous state record was 4.75, and all of the hail reports that we had in this list were bigger than that. So everything still needs to be verified, but it tells you something.
Yeah. And, of course, rain. April, we had all kinds of wet weather there. The parts of the Midwest, we were trying to give rain away and the water away to some other areas.
Yeah.
And then we just flipped the script in May.
So, Milwaukee, we had our wettest April on record and our driest May on record. It flipped. Brought Alex the nice dry air that he is loving out there. Did that to the ocean. Just keep that in mind. But this air that I'm talking about behind the front is really fall-like, October-like. You've got that drier air coming all the way down into the south. Dew points are dropping off. And where you see the lack of green, now we're in the 50s and the 40s dew points. And that definitely has a taste of fall to it. We're going to find that kind of air dropping all the way down into the deep south. It may not be 40s dew points in Florida, but you're going to notice a difference out there as we lose some of that humid feeling to the air. Plus, temperatures themselves are running a little below average in the 70s, low 80s, as opposed to being in the mid to upper 80s like we should be this time of year. We see the front go all the way down into central Florida. Look at Tampa, 83 degrees tomorrow. Temperatures are running a little below average there as well. And you'll feel that drop in dew points as well. Atlanta, we got a couple of days of this. Could be some showers today. Again, the front's on its way through, but then dry and sunny. This is like, I don't know, September 30th or something like that. That's sort of the weather that it will invoke out there. The Atlanta area, look at these dew points, how they're dropping off today into tomorrow morning. So tomorrow morning when you wake up, the dew points are going to be in the low 50s. It's going to feel crisp. You might want a jacket, at least for the morning hours. It gets sunny. Things heat up quickly. 79 is very comfortable in the afternoon, but you'll have a crisp morning thanks to the lower dew points. In the Northeast, our dew points are actually going to drop into the 20s and 30s for a little bit, and this will go on through the week. And so, the weather that we typically think about in summertime, that muggy and stifling air, it's going to be much more dry and barely noticeable, Alex.
This is what
the eastern U.S., this is part of your wedge factor. We're looking at high altitudes, but the wedge is underneath it, and it's bringing the cool air to the northeast.
Dry air.
Dry.
This is mid-levels of the atmosphere, yes. So it doesn't mean that it's everywhere, but it's going to be everywhere.
Yeah.
Look at that showing up all the way down here.
This is the release of that block that's been at high latitudes, right? You see this clockwise swirling thing right up in there? This is the high anticyclone broken off, now coming into the eastern U.S. This is our cool spell.
Is there any way we could have gotten this without having that block?
Probably.
You think?
Yeah. You can have like an air pressure developing offshore, and the wind around it can direct the traffic that way too.
Like in 2005.
Oh, we were just talking about it.
We were looking at the record cool max for yesterday was set at 64 in 2005.
In Atlanta.
In Atlanta, right, yes. And so anyway, we're like, what kind of weather pattern would do that? And there's this really cool weather replay website available where you can go back. And we went back, and it was a low off the coast.
Low off the coast, yeah.
And it was an upper low in the south. So you needed a lot of factors to get that kind of air in.
It was cool. How about this?
Yeah.
Right up in here, there's a little bit of a, I don't know, a small agitation of cumulus clouds, like a little rope cloud coming in there.
That's what I'm looking at.
There's another monster air low pressure with a whole lot of thunderstorms heading towards Bermuda. We forgot about that. I'm looking at this like non-precipitated cumulus cloud over there. This is the big show right here, big old spiral.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of the double barrel, right?
And then going down. Oh.
That's okay. They're too close.
All right, back into the plains now.
Some gravity
Yesterday.
waves.
Oh, yeah, the big storms that really blew up here in eastern Colorado, the big hail that we saw in and around Denver. Watch how things really blossom.
Look
2,
everywhere.
3 o'clock. It's right on cue.
Amazing.
Boom.
Overshooting tops on the clouds. See how they're like bubbling up right? Go. Right there. Right there.
Bunch of them.
You know, it doesn't take a whole lot to get very tall storms over the Front Range like that, because the heat source, the ground, is already a couple of thousand feet above sea level.
They got a head start.
Southern, was it Alabama, working into Florida, the Panhandle.
Oh, yeah.
Some cumulus. I like that little, look at that zone
Oh,
that
look
just
at that.
popped up.
Yeah.
Yep.
They look so benign at first, these cumulus.
Oh, go to the very beginning. Did you see that? Go to the, there was a circle there, which suggested that there was maybe, oh wait, that's what it's left behind. Look at the cool air it left behind.
Yeah, look at that.
Like a crater.
Outflow, an outflow crater.
Cool. Yeah.
That's cool.
That's fantastic.
All right, Matt Jones, he's been killing it this week.
Yeah, that's